Hello and welcome back to the channel. WebZip1277 here, and I have an initial reaction to The Defenders. Now, it just dropped on Netflix today. I'm only about 3 episodes in, but I've got to say so far it is off to a promising start. We've been looking forward to The Defenders pretty much ever since Daredevil. We kind of knew that Jessica Jones and Luke Cage and Daredevil and Iron Fist were all going to join forces in the Defenders for some time. So this is kind of like Netflix's version of the MCU's Avengers, except more street level and everything. And so far it's good. It's not perfect, and it does kind of take its time getting started. But again, having only seen 3 episodes, I'm really enjoying it. I will say so far, and I'm trying not to do any spoilers here, but I will say so far that the show's villain, Alexandra, who is played by Sigourney Weaver, I don't know who she is in terms of being a leader of the Hand or anything. I could probably research it, but I think at this point I'm just not going to. I'm just going to watch the show and see how it unfolds, and then I'll take a look and see if she's a, she is a character from any of the comics. But Sigourney Weaver is a really good actress. She's been doing this for years, and she's always fun to watch. Her character is written very well. Of the 4 mains, Danny Rand kind of remains the weakest one, but I'll get a little bit more into that later. Kristen Ritter's Jessica Jones, brings the snark and her kind of cocky, smart-ass detective, and she does that very well and plays off very well against the other characters, most notably Charlie Cox's Matt Murdock Daredevil character, and everyone has their good moments, and I'll even say that about Danny Rand. Now, I'm probably a little biased here because I did have to recently muscle through the last 2 episodes of Iron Fist just so I could be all caught up for the Defenders. And that literally was the only reason I did it, was just so I could be caught up. It took me like 5 months to finish a Netflix Marvel show, and that has never happened before. So I will admit to some negative bias going in. But based on what I've seen so far, I actually have a little bit of hope for Iron Fist's character. Danny Rand, who was never really that likable in Iron Fist, looks like he actually has a fighting chance here. We've got an entirely different showrunner. I think instead of Scott Buck, it's is it Drew Goddard? I think he's the one in charge now. And again, while Danny does remain kind of the weakest link, I've seen moments, particularly with his interactions with, say, the other characters like Luke Cage, especially, there is a chance for this character to grow. And I'm not saying that it's necessarily happening right now, and I'm not saying that it will be easy or instantaneous, but anyone who is following the Netflix Marvel news kind of already knows that Iron Fist is definitely getting a 2nd season, so hopefully Defenders will kind of serve as a springboard to kind of jumpstart Danny's likability as a character, and hopefully for Finn Jones to kind of grow in that. So we will see. But Danny has 1 or 2 moments just in these few episodes so far where I'm just kind of like, okay, he's not as bad. I think right now he's probably going to be the butt of a lot of jokes and eye rolls from the other 3 characters, the more established superheroes. But I also think that will serve his character well. So, what else? The story itself has a lot of memorable appearances from characters who have shown up in the other show, including, Foggy Nelson, Stick, Karen Page, several characters from Jessica Jones, whose names I can't remember. Trish, she shows up. So Misty Knight. So it's really nice, and they all kind of do a good job of tying in together well. So I like how they've kind of set this all up and planned it and are starting to execute it. The first episode, and again, I'm not really going to go into spoiler territory, at least not too much, but in terms of generalities, I think in the first episode it just kind of shows where each of the four main characters are and how they're kind of very much doing their own thing. And episode 2 kind of has them, kind of going further with each of their own things, and you find out that they may be more interconnected to each other. People start to meet up. But in the third episode, all I'm going to say about the third episode is that it reaches a fairly satisfying conclusion, where if it was just these first 3 episodes that you saw and then stopped, like I did, it definitely leaves you wanting more, like, oh yes, okay, things are about to finally take off. So definitely worth seeing. As a Marvel fan, an MCU movie fan and everything, this is a very satisfying series to me. Netflix Marvel properties, of course, are really not light viewing. They're definitely not for kids. A lot of violence, a lot of sex, even if there's no explicit nudity. But you know what's going on. They're pretty clear about what is happening on screen. But it is definitely a fun and just kind of intense piece of drama to watch. And even though this is going to be a shorter series than each of the individuals, it looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. So based on these first 3 episodes, I am anticipating a lot of good moments to come in the remaining, 5? I think it's 8 episodes altogether. So we'll see. But that's kind of my initial summation. It's promising. The villain is good. The characters are all pretty good, with one possible exception, and he's getting better. He's getting better. Danny Rand is getting better. Lots of good cameos and a plot that is, it definitely favors some shows over the other in terms of where we've seen it before. But it looks like it'll be fun, so I'm looking forward to seeing the rest. Hopefully you are, and hopefully it'll be a lot of fun. So I will definitely check back when I have more. But in the meantime, it's definitely worth checking out. I would recommend it. So hopefully you enjoyed this. If you did, please go ahead and leave a like. And if you're feeling particularly ambitious and you haven't already, please go ahead and subscribe. It really helps me out. If you have any comments or anything that you want to add or talk about in the comments section, please feel free to go ahead. I try to respond as much as I can. And enjoy the show, and hopefully I'll be back with more. And until then, I will see you later.